Congratulations, Brian. Just wondering, what is it about this team that is able to come up with these kinds of moments, these kinds of comebacks?
Well, Larry, tonight's game was a comeback, I guess, and again, I'll rely on my PR people over here to my right. I think we were the first team to come back from 0-3 down against DC United or something a couple years ago. Larry, I wouldn't. You've heard me say it before. I don't know how to say it any differently. That's a locker room full of championship players, about guys that understand that. Look, it's easy to be, successful. You're winning games, and you're ahead, and you drive a nice car, and you got a nice wife, girlfriend, all that sort of stuff. But when adversity hits you, when you're socked in the jaw by Ozzie and Adrian Heath and Minnesota, who put on a great performance, you get socked in the jaw, and you get back up, and you get back up, and you persevere under, Minnesota had the game in their hand. 15 minutes to go. In comes Will Bruin, Midwest guy, ready for the fight, ready to have at it, and he sparks the group. Well, I always talk about next man up. I always talk about what is good about this franchise. Well, there's Will, and he's had his challenges because he believes he can be a starter on other MLS teams, and he could, but he's here, and he works for all of his teammates in that locker room. And I couldn't be prouder of, Will's response, Gustav's response, Raul's goal, the guys that were still on the field that, that persevered under adversity. Again, we use mentality. It's a catchphrase. It's whatever. It's culture and all that. I'm telling you, in that locker room, it's real. I don't know how else to explain it, Larry. You're the better writer. Hopefully, you can get my thoughts. I'm giving you my thoughts here, and you can write it down more eloquently than I just gave it to you. But those guys are winners. They're champions. In my mind, that group of people in that locker room, and I'm not talking about just the players. I want to talk about the coaching staff. I want to talk about the fitness staff. I want to talk about the medical staff that's kept us safe. We have done a great job as an organization to put ourselves into these positions to have even a chance to get to an MLS Cup for a second year in a row. And then to win a game like that, Larry, that's what, as a soccer fan, when I look back on this in 10 years, that was an unbelievable performance. I don't know how we did it. I'm just telling you, I don't know how we did it.
Tim Booth.
Brian, you mentioned it there a minute ago, but what did Will provide for you when he came on, and then second to that, what Gustav had when he came on, and I guess Brad as well.
Well, look, Brad, Gustav, Will. I'm pretty blessed to have a bench where I can bring those guys off the bench, but Will brought exactly what this game needed. Look, we were in and around, and we had some half chances, and there were some things that were going well. But at halftime, we talked about getting more numbers inside the penalty box. When we got into the prime assist zone, we needed to have one more guy inside the box to help Raul. And then, as soon as Will steps on the field, he wins a couple headers, he holds the ball up really well, the ball goes wide. All of a sudden, Raul's free to do kind of what he does, float off the back shoulder, all of that. Will's contribution to the game was tactical, mental, statistical. It was a lot. And then Gustav coming on, and welcome back, Gustav. He's always been good at set pieces. Coaching staff, give credit to them. Everybody thought the game was heading to overtime. The guys on my right were saying, no, we got this. We're going to get one more chance. And sure enough, we get a corner kick, Nico, delivery. Here it is. Up steps Gustav. So credit to those guys for being ready to come in, make a difference, play for their teammates. And those are two of the most humble guys we got. Will and Gustav are two of the most humble professionals that I've worked with.
Jeremiah. You're still muted, Jeremiah.
Congratulations on the win, Coach. Fourth MLS Cup in 5 years. Has that sunk in at all? That's an accomplishment that only DC United has pulled off, and that was, a lifetime ago in the time of MLS.
Hasn't sunk in, Jeremiah. Again, I can't tell you how, God, I wish that our fans were in that stadium. God, I wish I was a fan. I wish I was in the Brougham end and, with all my buddies in the ECS and, drinking beer and having a good time and all that. I wish I was there watching that game. I mean, that was unbelievable. I haven't had a chance to soak it in, Jeremiah. This was in our Sounders history, this is going to go down as one of the best games ever. I'm just telling you. Now, look, the final last year, we won a final. We won an MLS Cup. But this has to rank right up there. I mean, this was a great win.
Matt Pence.
Hey, Coach, you've spoken about the impact of Gustav and Will. Having Raul have the record he has in the playoffs, it seems like he has a great sort of tendency to step up when you need him. How much does that impact the group to let them know that if you guys have another chance or two late in the game, that he's going to step up and take it?
You're talking about his goal-scoring record in the playoffs?
Well, just how that kind of lifts everybody else, especially in a game where you're going to have to come back, knowing you have a guy who's going to take those chances when they come.
Yeah, he had a couple of, again, Matt, good question. I mean, he had a couple of half looks. He was a little bit by himself and blah, blah, blah. We had, our final third movements maybe weren't as sharp as they could have been. Again, as soon as Will stepped on, and then again, set pieces in playoffs were a big deal. I mean, you watch our goals. Raul's job in our set piece, the way we draw it up, is he needs to, kind of go off the back shoulder at the back post, pick up any pieces back there. And he did it, and he was able to finish. But I think, again, Raul is going to tell you, I'm going to tell you, that everybody on that squad, deserves credit. Raul scores a goal. Yeah, Will scores a goal. Goal scorers always get a lot of attention. Gustav's going to get a lot of attention because he scored the goal, but he's the guy that told you he just, picks up all the blankety blank. But he scored a great goal tonight, and goal scorers always get attention.
Charles Bohm.
Hi, Coach. Congrats. Just to delve a little into what you saw developing tactically, what do you think Minnesota did that made things tough for you guys? And what was it about Will Bruin that made him the choice for you, and kind of how you saw everything unfolding from the sidelines?
Well, tactically, I don't think Minnesota surprised us at all. I mean, I think they played true to who they were, false nine, and Lod does a good job, and, all that. Obviously, you saw Reynoso's quality on the first goal. I mean, that was a well-taken free kick. I mean, it's hard to beat Steph. And then you go to the second goal, the set-piece delivery, and, I'll look at our marking in the box and all that, but again, it's a good delivery. So I don't think tactically Minnesota surprised us with anything. I think in the grand scheme of things, you can look at how did Minnesota beat Sporting Kansas City. They took their chances, and I think tonight they took the few chances that they had, and certainly, put us under immense pressure. And, when you ask me again about Will and his impact in the game, I mean, Will's ability to win some headers, gain some possession, it allowed Raul to roam a little bit in different spots. I think tactically we've struggled when we've tried to play 4-4-2. But when I did it today, I told Gustav just to hold the middle because he's very good at, just staying central. Nico was right next to him. Chris is on one side, Jordan Morris on the other, and then you have two forwards inside the penalty box. And maybe I need to revisit that. I mean, maybe that's a better formation for us. I don't know.
Nico Moreno.
Hey, Coach, congrats once again. Two questions for you. One tactical. It seemed like you guys did a good job at containing Reynoso throughout the game. You guys are closing down on him very quickly. Did you guys do anything in particularly strategically to kind of hold him down? And then in terms of the win, how much more remarkable, how much more impressive is it that you were able to turn around that score without a crowd to kind of feed off from and kind of have to build your own momentum to get that win?
Okay, so as far as Reynoso and the run of play, because obviously he had a big impact in the game with the set piece delivery, but as far as Reynoso and the run of play, I mean, we just wanted to negate his ability to get the ball and get his head up and face forward and make good passes. We always wanted him to be under pressure, to get his head down, and to make him play the ball negative. And so that was a tactical piece to defend a very talented player. Now again, I go back to the mentality piece. I mean, I can't say enough about the group and the team and how we defended as a group and, made this game happen the way it did. I mean, that's a championship team, Nico. I mean, I couldn't tell you again, was it this tactic? Was it this tactic? Was it this tactic? It was those guys in the locker room never say quit. We're not going to quit. This game is not over. We have a chance to win this at 2-2 with 30 seconds to go on the clock. We're going to make this happen. That's their mentality. And that's what I so appreciate about this team.
Franco, go ahead.
Thank you. Brian, how are you? Congratulations on the win. I agree from a neutral perspective, that was a heck of a game with a heck of a finish. Just two quick questions for you. And I know you touched on the players and their ability to help manage the game and figure it out. But how much does experience and know-how factor into the way you guys were able to come back from 2-0 down with, like you said, 15 minutes left, and you guys not only tie it, you guys win it, in regulation. So how much does the experience you guys have had and gained over the last few years in big games helped? And then the second one goes, for you, and maybe it's hard for you to talk about yourself, but, there was, I saw a comment that you made with regards to Alexi's comment before the game. And,
I'm laughing already.
But, obviously, you have a big hand in this result as well, right? You make the subs, and then the subs come in and make an impact, and you flip the game. So, what does it say about your ability to manage, and do you think you're at the prime of your coaching career right now?
Look, let me answer the first one, then I'll get into the second one, Franco. Thank you for asking the question. I mean, look, big games, those guys have been there before. They understand what it takes to win championships, big games. LAFC last year certainly was a Western Conference final. That was a good performance. This was just as good, different, but just, incredible performance. I think all of the teams that have made it to MLS Cup that I've coached, they all have that one certain something, and it's the character, it's the humility, it's the ability to overcome adversity and all of those things. We've had it in all of our championship teams. As far as Lexi is concerned and the coaching thing, I don't need to be in a different state to coach differently. Geographically, my coaching doesn't change. We certainly have confidence as to what we do here, how we do it. I mean, that part's never going to change. I mean, I know we poked fun at my mom, and my wife wasn't pleased with Lexia either. But I mean, at the end of the day, he's paid to make an opinion. So let him say what he has to say. I'm telling you that I'm very confident in that coaching staff. I'm very confident with this team that we can go and get one more result. And then let's just let history decide whether I'm a good coach or not.
And if I could ask you just a quick short follow-up. The cameras caught you on the third goal, your celebration with a smile and kind of a push and shove with the coaching staff, almost as if you didn't believe it. Just what went through your head, or what did you feel, when that third goal came?
No. Okay, Franco, that again is another good point, because maybe I didn't believe it. Those guys, Gonzo, Jimmy, Preki, and Tommy, they were saying, we got this. We're going to have one more chance. We're going to get, I always tell Tommy Dutra, I always ask Tommy to start the clock when extra time comes. I'm going, Tommy, how much time we got? How much time we got? Tommy's like, going 20 seconds. We got this. We're going to get one more chance. So we are all on the bench. Those guys are all on the bench, like saying, no, we got this. I'm thinking about, what am I going to do in overtime? What subs am I going to make? I get one more extra sub. How are we going to change the game? Those guys were the ones that were saying, no, we got this. We're going to win. I mean, this hasn't been talked about. I mean, I know it's talked about individually, but I got to give a shout out to Jimmy Traore, because you look at the back line that we had in last year's MLS Cup final, and you look at the back line we have now. I mean, it's 4 different players. And Jimmy does such a good job about keeping this team, keeping that defensive unit to be successful. I mean, I am so blessed to have a guy that's a Champions League winner on my staff. And a lot of that stuff goes, it just doesn't, whatever. Whenever Nico or Raul score, who do they go? Yeah, they celebrate with their teammates, but then they always go to the bench to celebrate with Preki, because Preki does a great job with those guys. So I can't say enough about, how astounded I am. Not that I didn't believe, but, the coaches in that room, in the coach's office, the players, they all believe they can do this. So credit to them.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, we got time for a few more here. Jason Mitchell, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, can you just tell us what your thoughts were in terms of timings on your substitutions tonight?
Well, look, at 1-0, it's different than 2-0. At 2-0, it's, you gotta start making some things happen. So, normally I'm pretty conservative in my general coaching outlook. We go through, you make adjustments at halftime, you see if those adjustments work. They weren't really working, but it was 1-0. Then they scored the second goal. We got to start making some changes. All of that is obviously by feel. You just kind of feel the game. You kind of see what, you see what's needed out there. You get advice from your staff, and then you say, okay, this is what we're going to do. And again, you give all the credit to the players that were ready to come on and help the squad. That's where all the credit comes. Because look, you can make a sub. Look, there's been plenty of times when I made subs and they haven't worked. And people say, subs coach is not good, blah, blah, blah. A game like tonight, you make the subs, they come on and do their job, and then all of a sudden, you're a great coach and whatever. I think that's just part of the deal. I mean, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. I mean, sometimes you make decisions and they work. Sometimes you make decisions they don't. What I have, though, is a belief in the guys that I ask advice to, Gonzo, Preki, Jimmy, Tommy, and then that team believes. That's a humble group of guys. I mean, there's some guys that might have been upset that they didn't start. But you know what? When they came on the field, you can bet your ass they were working for their teammates, the guys that were starting. That's what you saw that's what you saw tonight.
Did the early yellow cards make you consider halftime substitutions at all?
Nope, because I have faith in both Alex and Shane, but it certainly was one of the factors leading into my eventual substitutions.
All right. Congratulations, Coach.
I got time for two more here. Felipe, go ahead.
Congratulations, Coach, for the win. I would like to ask you, what do you, your feelings when the referee whistled the end of the game? And also, how can you participate your happiness, your celebration to all the fans that could not be in the stadium today?
Well, obviously, we were very, very happy at the end of the game when the referee finally blew the whistle. Felipe, I think I said it on the national TV broadcast, I wish that our fans were in the building to witness such a great Sounders victory. I mean, that was something that we will talk about for many, 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 many years to come as part of the history of our club. That was such a good performance by everyone on the team. Will, yes. Gustav, yes. Raul, yes. But everyone, that was such a great performance. And it makes me a little sad that COVID has taken over and, that fans weren't allowed in the building. But I'm hoping, and I'm sure, Felipe, I am very sure that there's been a lot of Sounder fans out there that have enjoyed this evening in their own apartments, in their own houses, with their families, via Zoom. I think I signed up for a Zoom call on some site, but I never got a call back. I don't know what happened there, on Gorilla or something. I was going to watch the game myself. But that was an unbelievable performance, and I wish the fans were there.
Thank you.
All righty, Phil West, MLSsoccer.com. Why don't you close us out?
Yeah, thanks. So, yeah, one more game left. Just wanted to get your initial thoughts on facing Columbus. You faced them once during the year back in March, which seems like a lifetime ago. That was a draw. Can you talk a little bit about what you expect from them and how you might counter what they'll do?
Phil, I am enjoying my moment right now with that group of players and my staff. I haven't even thought about Columbus, although my good friend Ezra Hendrickson is there, so I'll be happy to see him. Caleb's obviously a very good coach. He's done a great job there. We will start the process tomorrow to start watching film. We'll start pushing out film to the players. We'll start doing our normal routine. But I have not yet really begun to dig into Columbus. We obviously watched the game the other night. They're a talented team, but right now I just want everybody, the fans, the players, the staff, I just want them to enjoy this moment because this was a special moment in our history, in the club's history.